of America's team, Brad Sham, on the Diamond Factory Hotline with round one of our NFL draft coverage tonight, starting at 6 o'clock on this radio station. Good morning, Bradley. How are you?
I'm well. How are you boys?
Doing well. Who do you like? What name that's realistic around 26 would be at the top of your list?
Yeah, the realistic's the operative word there, isn't it? I personally would love it, although I've not seen one mock draft that had it happen, if the wide receiver Addison from Southern California got down there. I don't think they can really go wrong. They need everything, and they don't need anything desperately. So, I think, Shan, that wide receiver and defensive tackle are the areas that need strengthening the most, but they're not the only ones. And the reason I said Addison is, all I know is the last time we saw them, when Tony Pollard got hurt at halftime in San Francisco, CeeDee Lamb was the only playmaker on the field in the second half.
Yeah.
That's got to change. Now, some of that can be the quarterback, the scheme, how they protect, but I didn't see any other playmakers out there, and that was scary. And so if I could get somebody like Addison, who I think is just a phenomenal route runner, then I'd love that.
Kevin Gray has tweeted that, Mel Kiper and McShay have their final mocks. Dalton Kincaid at number 26, according to Kiper, and Luke Musgrave at 26, according to McShay. How do you feel about the tight end group?
I mean, they could use a tight end. I think this sounds like it's an exceptional group. I love Kincaid. I've seen him a few times, and the kid Mayer from Notre Dame is supposed to be an even more overall accomplished player. And it's clear, if you keep your antenna up, that they're on Musgrave. They like him, and here's the main thing for me is I trust them to know who they think will be available in the second round. So if you say that Musgrave is clearly better than anyone who's going to be there tomorrow or the next day, then if that's your guy, go ahead and take him. I do know that Kincaid is a really eye-opening pass-catching weapon.
Brad, when you look at the press conference this week and the way they were talking about Mike McCarthy's involvement and, he's going to be calling the offense this year, I know that Jerry says that, hey, we want the coaches to be involved. That's the type of collaborative process that I want to build together, is that the coaches have a voice in there. I know Mike McCarthy had said in a couple interviews before he came to Dallas that he didn't necessarily want to buy the groceries, that he was okay just cooking the meal. Do you think that, even though that is something that the Cowboys are willing to give over to him, do you think he's going to have a big voice in the room, or do you think he'll say, hey, we're just going to trust what the scouts' work was here?
Oh, no, I think, Bobby, that he'll pipe up. I mean, I think he may have felt that way because he was reasonably successful in Green Bay without even getting a chance to hand over the grocery list. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just weren't very much involved, not nearly the way. And what Jerry and Stephen have both said publicly about having the coaches involved this weekend, that's no different than the last 3 years. That's really no different than the last multiple years after that. But I think that if I would hope that, and frankly expect, that McCarthy understands that they're at a place where they're a pretty good team, and his family likes living here. And if he wants to continue to live and work here, then they've got to have measurable, sustainable success. And he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would pass up an opportunity to contribute by voicing his opinion. I don't think he's going to sit by and say, whatever you guys say is okay with me. I think he'll pipe up.
So you said, I know you said that there's a lot of places they could go. Is there a particular place you would not go in this first round?
I'm not sure, RJ, from what I haven't watched tape like a lot of guys do, but it doesn't look like there are many safeties who would be that worth that high pick. I think there are other positions. There's offensive tackles, maybe some guards. I think the running back is questionable. I don't think Bijan Robinson's going to be there. That's a pipe dream. And now then, is there somebody worth it besides him, and how much better is that guy than who's there tomorrow? So I would say that probably would surprise me a little bit, unless they just fall in love with a guy. But I think running back today, unless it was Robinson, would be something that might be a little bit of a surprise. But that depends on how the board falls. You guys know, you read enough of these mocks and your eyes cross. But after a while, you get to this point, and you can kind of sense what the consensus is on a lot of guys. And then the other thing we know from experience is there are going to be some big surprises.
Yeah.
There are going to be a couple of people there who they didn't think would be there, and fans didn't think would be there, and that's how they got CeeDee Lamb. And I just know this, that you have to take the long view, not as a fan, but if you're doing it for a living. It's a 3-day draft, not just tonight. So, Jake Ferguson was a 4th-round pick, and Prescott was a 4th-round pick, and Tony Pollard was a 4th-round pick, and Marion Barber was a 4th round. That's Saturday. So part of the work that you do in putting your board together is making a calculated gamble on who you think is going to be there when you come up, or what it'll cost you to move, either on Friday or Saturday. That dictates it. So that's why, to me, running back would be a little bit of a surprise.
Brad Sham here on 105.3 The Fan. Would you be okay if they went quarterback in one of the first 4 rounds?
Better be good. You better be really good. I mean, depends who falls. One of the first 4. There's a couple of things that I think they need more immediately. If they come to think of it, when they took Dak, Romo had some injuries, but nobody was expecting him not to be able to play.
Right.
So, and they really liked him. They'd had hands-on experience with him in the Senior Bowl. But if there's somebody there, and I don't see an indication of this, but if there's somebody there on Saturday that they feel really strongly about in the 4th round, then go ahead and take him. You're going to need a quarterback at some point. I would be surprised if that happened today or tomorrow.
How do you feel about the top quarterbacks? Have you gotten a chance to watch any, and where do you stand on the old school, new school size argument with Bryce Young?
There's no question it's a big man's game. There's also no question, if you've watched them play Alabama, if you've watched them play any over the last 2 years, that's a different guy. He has some things that other guys who are bigger don't have. Stroud's got all the measurables, and when a guy is put in a position of having to defend his intelligence, which I think has been a little unfair to Stroud, but then you got to kind of watch how he handles himself. Now, he might have a chip on his shoulder and turn out to be better. Richardson's really intriguing. He's got all of these physical attributes, and he hasn't played much. And he may turn out to be a great player. My guess is that someone is going to overdraft him, at least for the early couple of rounds. You can go back 10 years, 12 years, and look at all of the top 15 picks spent on quarterbacks that didn't work out. These drafters lose their minds when they get in the room and a quarterback run starts. Levis is an intriguing guy because when you get a guy at that position who could go anywhere from top 5 to bottom 6 or 7, that's nobody's saying that about Bryce Young. Nobody's saying that about Stroud. Hooker's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he is.
RJ.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know when you'd have to. Now that might be one, Sean. You'd have to do your homework on him. Obviously, they've done their homework on all these guys, but he might be a guy that if he was sitting there tomorrow, I don't know about the second. That might be too rich for my blood, but maybe not. When they drafted Larry Allen, they thought they really had done their work, and then he just kept dropping, and he kept dropping, and he kept dropping, and Larry Lacewell told me that he and Hudson Houck, the offensive line coach at the time, as Allen kept dropping, they kept running into the film room to say, let's take one more look. What are we missing? Why is this guy? So that kind of thing could happen with Hooker. Hooker will either go way too high or way too low. And if he was still sitting there tomorrow, then that would be an intriguing guy to me.
What word got you?
What do you mean?
April 18th, Twitter. Bite me, Wordle.
Gosh, I play it every day, and so I'd have to go back and look. But it was, what, one of my pet peeves in life, my ultra pet peeve used to always be someone taking up 2 parking spaces. And Wordle roulette is coming. It's gaining on the inside lane. That when they got 6 words and because then there's no skill. I mean, you can sit there and up 2, 3, put a little skill together. No, you're not going to follow that letter with this letter. When you're playing roulette like that, that's why I don't play roulette at a casino ever anywhere. I don't remember, but I know I wasn't amused.
The word that got you, Brad, it was hound.
Yeah, right.
H-O-U-N-D.
Pound, sound, found. Please, give me a break. And if it takes you 2 lines to get there, and now you've got half a dozen choices, please.
We'll see you round.
Yeah.
Round.
Yeah, the round. Which round?
I'll wrap.
Round midnight, the way that draft's going to go.
It fits for all. Thank you, brother. We'll catch up for a
man.
recap.
Okay. Talk to you later.